In the early 1800s, a small farming family in Tennessee became the center of the most famous and terrifying paranormal case in American history. What tormented the Bell family wasn't just a ghost. It was something far darker, something people still fear today. This is the true story of the Bell Witch. It all began in 1817 when John Bell, a farmer in Adams, Tennessee, noticed strange occurrences on his property. First, it was the sounds, knocking on doors and windows, heavy footsteps stomping across the floor when no one was there. But soon, the entity made itself known. The Bell family reported hearing a disembodied voice, singing hymns, mocking their prayers, and even calling them by name. They described it as an invisible force, capable of pulling blankets off their beds, slapping family members, and even causing physical harm to John Bell himself. This wasn't just a family legend. The Bell Witch became so notorious that it caught the attention of Andrew Jackson, the Andrew Jackson, who would later become the 7th President of the United States. In 1819, Jackson visited the Bell family farm to witness the haunting for himself. According to reports, Jackson and his men were terrorized throughout the night by violent knocking, scratching sounds, and even being shoved by an invisible force. One of Jackson's men reportedly declared,
"I would rather face the British again than spend another night with that witch."
The haunting was relentless since the start. Throughout this period, the family endured nightly torment. Betsy Bell, John's youngest daughter, was a particular target. She suffered from physical attacks, often waking up with bruises and scratches covering her arms and legs. The Bell Witch was said to be relentless in her torment of the Bell family, but it wasn't just them who suffered. Neighbors who ventured near the property reported experiencing unexplainable chills, hearing voices in the woods, and even seeing shadowy figures darting among the trees. As time passed, the Bell family's neighbors grew increasingly wary. Some tried to help by spending nights in the Bell home, but few lasted more than a single evening. The constant knocking, disembodied voices, and the eerie sensation of being watched drove most visitors away in terror. One account tells of a young man who tried to debunk the haunting by spending the night in the Bell cabin. He claimed that shortly after midnight, his candle was snuffed out by an unseen hand. In the pitch darkness, he felt cold, clammy fingers brush against his face. By morning, he was so shaken that he refused to speak of what happened. The Bell Witch wasn't confined to the farm either. Travelers passing through the area reported seeing a mysterious woman in a long black dress standing by the roadside. When approached, she would vanish into thin air, leaving only the scent of sulfur behind. The entity also seemed to have a malevolent sense of humor. Local children playing near the property described hearing a woman's voice laughing mockingly at them, even though no one was there. At times, their toys would move on their own or disappear entirely, only to reappear days later in impossible places. Interestingly, the Bell Witch's activity wasn't entirely malevolent. On some occasions, it seemed to protect the Bell family. One night, when a group of bandits tried to rob the Bell farm, they were reportedly scared off by an unseen force. The men described hearing a low growl before their lanterns were extinguished, leaving them scrambling in the dark. Years later, in 1820, John Bell mysteriously died, reportedly poisoned by the entity. A vial of strange black liquid was found near his bedside, and the Bell Witch claimed responsibility. Even after his death, the activity didn't stop. The haunting persisted for years, terrifying visitors and locals alike. After John Bell's death, the entity's presence diminished, but it didn't disappear completely. Betsy Bell, who had been tormented for years, broke off her engagement to a local man after the witch warned her of impending disaster should they marry. Shortly after, The witch announced it would leave, but the entity promised to return in 7 years. True to its word, the Bell Witch allegedly reappeared in 1827, haunting one of John Bell's sons. Though less violent than before, the entity's presence was still unnerving. It whispered secrets about the family's future and even provided cryptic warnings about events yet to come. Was the Bell Witch a restless spirit, a demon, or something else entirely? The mystery remains unsolved, and even today, visitors to Adams, Tennessee claim to experience strange occurrences near the old Bell farm. Do you think the Bell Witch was real, or is it just an elaborate legend? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying mists of history.